Well, good afternoon. Sorry for giving folks a heart attack again. Courtesy of United Airlines, I had a wonderful detour to North Carolina, and so I'm here now. But XG, Jonodev Chaudhuri, Jijivkados, Nagazalgi, Niyaka, Atodos. Chair, Ranking Member, it's an honor to be before you again. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Jonodev Chaudhuri, and I'm honored to serve as the ambassador for the Muscogee Creek Nation. Affording tribal nations the platform to share feedback and suggestions for improvement over the annual fiscal year cycle is crucial to improving and enhancing federal budget strategies to best serve tribal nations and uphold treaty rights. As one of the largest federally recognized tribes in the United States, with a reservation spanning over 3.2 million acres, home to well over 1 million people, and covering 8 full counties and parts of 3 more in eastern Oklahoma, our reservation is divided into 8 legislative districts corresponding with 8 counties in eastern Oklahoma. We represent the interests of over 100,000 enrolled citizens, as well as many more Native Americans and non-citizens who call our reservation home. The funding requests and recommendation provided in this testimony are grounded in our commitment to tribal sovereignty and operating as good faith partners in our government-to-government relationship with the U.S. federal government. This relationship has been built on the deep-rooted obligations, financial and otherwise, mandated and guaranteed in treaties and agreements entered into with the Muscogee Creek Nation. Bears remembering, without these treaties, the United States wouldn't be here. It is our intention that MCN's testimony can serve as a stepping stone for improved dialogue and partnership between Congress and tribal nations. A substantial funding gap still exists for Native American programs at DOI, particularly BIA programs, and there is an ample amount of work to be done to fulfill the federal government's treaty obligations. As a sovereign body, the Muscogee Creek Nation has an inherent responsibility to ensure public safety within our reservation boundaries. Since 2020, the Muscogee Creek Nation has undertaken a large-scale capacity-building effort to deliver effective public safety services in a complex jurisdictional environment. We've executed more than 60 cross-deputization agreements with city governments, municipal partners, and state agencies to ensure seamless coordination across jurisdictions. Over the same period, we expanded our light horse police from 30 officers in 2020 to 133 acting officers today. Since 2020, Muscogee Creek Nation has received thousands of criminal referrals from non-Indian governments and has referred just as many criminal matters to non-Indian governments and issues hundreds of civil and criminal sanctions every year for traffic violations. Our efforts have been complicated by the Supreme Court's Castro Huerta decision, as some local authorities have relied on that decision as a basis for refusing to inform us of instances where our citizens are victimized on our reservation. We look forward to working with Congress in our effort to find a solution to the problem caused by Castro Huerta. We encourage Congress to retain funding levels for public safety in courts in Indian country and consider increasing capacity building funds. An increase in capacity building funding would allow MCN to address challenges and enhance the efficacy of our justice system by hiring additional judges, prosecutors, public defenders, and court staff, and to address the urgent need for additional court facilities. We also encourage members of Congress to work with the tribes in crafting statutory language that would create a joint venture construction program in which tribal nations could partner with the Department of Justice to construct or refurbish detention facilities in the same way that tribes do with the Indian Health Service to create new health facilities. Furthermore, based on FY24 funding levels, there exists a funding shortfall of over $12 million for Creek Nation's agriculture and natural resources programs and functions. Therefore, the nation would request that the House retain existing funding mechanisms and consider increasing capacity building funds to support land management and development activities. Creek Nation also respectfully requests, just as our Cherokee Nation partners have, an increase in the current funding levels for the Johnson O'Malley program, adjusted to reflect the updated student counts following the full implementation of JOM's Supplemental Indian Education Program Modernization Act of 2018. The Creek Nation is thankful for the opportunity to provide testimony before you today, and we look forward to working with you to work across Indian country to promote responsible appropriations that honor the trust responsibilities of the nation and recognize tribal nations as effective stewards of public lands. Maro.
Thank you.